Hey my peeps, got a bit of time for a quick video, so let's go. So, yeah, bit of a rabbit hole today that you might agree with or not. But I don't think there are too many talking about this. Now I've got books on Pompeii, right? I've dog-eared them. Oh, she's not bad. Wow, look at that. Oh, sorry. Where were we? Right. This is Rainbow Serpents Meeting at World Mound. Look at that. A painting from Pompeii. And does it not look a bit Chinese-Japanese? Right. So there's a bit of a Eurasian link there, possibly to the pre-Romans, or who knows what's going on. Or did they take it to Asia? Did Asia take it to them? Well, artworks traded. What's going on? But let's get onto it. This is the rabbit hole. Ever since I was a boy, I've looked at the Roman military uniform, and this is a summer uniform. They did campaign in the summer, but all over Europe, sandals and shorts. Right, okay. Even in Britain, sandals and shorts. Right, okay. Now, I was on a... here it is. I'm wondering, did ancient Rome have tropical temperatures? Did they have tropical temperatures in ancient Rome? We know there was a Roman warm period, but just how warm was this period? Was it warmer than today or not? Yes, there's ice core readings, and yes, we think we know what the temperatures were, and yes, this is what the science says, but science said something completely different 100 years ago, and it will say something completely different in 100 years' time. Now, I look at their clothes. I use my brain and I say, this does not compute. And it's not just the clothes, people. It's the houses. It's the economy. It's everything. Everything about them doesn't make sense at the moment. Now, Yorkshire. I'm in Yorkshire a few years ago. And we're on a tour. I'm at the Leeds History Conference in Leeds Uni, right? I'm giving a paper. And... we go on a little bus trip to a nearby monastery, right? Ruins. And this chick from Spain says, how do they live out here? I would die out here. How do they live out here? It's freezing. And do you know what, guys? That's not the worst. Do you know what? It's summertime. It's summertime. Now, it only gets to like 16, 17, 18 degrees in their summer. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I just flown over from the continent. And so I was in shorts because I was in Poland. It was 27 degrees every day. I was nice and bronze. I'm in Leeds. This professor walks up to me and he says, he looks at my badge. He said, oh, you're from Australia. That's why you're wearing shorts. No, I'm from the bloody continent. I just flew over from the continent. That's why I'm in shorts. It is freezing on that island. But they did campaign in winter as well. Kaiser was campaigning in winter. He took him up. He was campaigning against the Germans, took him by surprise. He was a great general. They had some of the best mosaic artists. This is so-called Cicero's Villa in Pompeii. Look at the three-dimensional work. Just genius. Just genius. Brilliant mosaics. Brilliant mosaics. What a civilization this was. Absolutely amazing. And you look at the clothes. Here we go. Oh, this is painting from the villa of Publius Fannius Sinistor, Museo Nazionale Naples. So here you have two very Roman-looking people, and this is got the bare arms. You never see them rugged up like in the Renaissance times. Rugged up in many layers, like a picture of Ivan the Terrible or Henry VIII or any of these portraits, or even Elizabeth. Even she's rugged up with hundreds of layers. You never see that. You never see that. A mosaic of the school of Plato. Bare arms. What's a toga? A toga is a blanket, but it seems to be even thinner than a blanket. It might be wool, it might be linen. And I bet you could unfurl it and use it as a blanket when it got a bit colder. That was the attraction of it, but I'm not sure. And it's almost like an Indian sari. Isn't that like an Indian sari? It's a toga. This one's interesting. Ceremony in the Temple of Isis. It's almost abstract the way it's painted, but it's Roman. You got this bloke with a brazier, and it looks like almost like a black fellow in the background. It's quite interesting, that. Temple of Isis, Isis. What was worshipped? What was Isis? Isis. There was an Isis in Rome as well as Egypt. Was it from Egypt or was it European? I've debated this in videos. Let's look at the next book. Yeah, the good books, I got these for $1. The good ones you keep for yourself, though. Pompeii and Herculaneum, Michael Grant. And you can see, well, look at the front cover. I mean, how often were they naked? What's going on? And we haven't touched on the houses yet. Same picture, the world serpents converging at the world mountain. That is exactly what that is. You see that in the William Stuckley picture of Silbury. Looks like a husband and wife or something. Always the toga. Now let's talk about the houses. A Roman house has a big, and this is a bit of a problem here, because in the Renaissance in Italy, not in Italy, but at least in Spain, they still built the same Roman houses. In some ways, Spanish is closer to Latin than Italian is, which is interesting. People have told me, you know Latin, you can learn Spanish in 2 weeks. And some of those Italian houses, Spanish houses, are certainly very much like what the Romans built, even in cold Renaissance times. But here, there's still a problem. Look at a Roman house. Look at a Roman house. It is essentially an open centre. The centre is open. It is open to the elements. What's going on there? What is going on with that? Yeah, sure, you can have a big fire there. That's where I assume they did a lot of their cooking, because that was the point of it, having a big hole in the middle. It's open to the elements. You've got water there. Yeah. But how do you keep it warm? What about all the rooms? And bear in mind, I don't think there's any fireplaces. Did they have steam boilers or something in each room? Did they bring a pot of hot water into each room to warm it up? That house design wouldn't have been invented in Renaissance times. What's going on? And in fact, in Renaissance times, they did invent the fireplace because of the cold temperatures. Before that, it was just put the fire anywhere, really. Have a big open space. Put holes in the roof. What's going on? So the house, how do you warm those rooms, those adjoining rooms? Don't they get cold? What the heck is going on? Street sweepers going past or something? Were temperatures warmer in Roman times than even today? Look at the clothing. They laughed at the Celts who wore trousers. But in later Roman times, they did start to wear trousers. They did start to wear it. The late Romans, they wore trousers. It got colder. The economy went south. I assume the fertility went down and there were bad harvests. Bad harvest means you can't pay the army for a year. Bad harvest means the army's up the north. They're not going to get paid. The Germans are starving. They'll march to Rome looking for food. Oh, suddenly that's the end of their little empire, because the temperatures shift. And historians don't really talk about this. They don't really talk about the nakedness of Rome. The nakedness of their houses. It's not discussed. What's going on? I don't think we have the total solution to the problem. Again, it's just like Chinese lacquerware, Japanese lacquerware, isn't it? That's interesting. Very interesting indeed. Everyone copied Pompeii, everyone. That's obviously based on, that was what Mr. Wedgwood based his pottery upon. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a light dress that she's wearing there. You never see them rugged up. I wonder, their houses, how often, did they have a different house for winter? That's a possibility. For example, the English aristocrats had a summer house, and then they'd go in the clustered little winter houses in their city house for winter. The Romans may have done the same. For winter, they may have gone to Roman bath. They may have gone to the bar, hang out in the baths all day long in the steam rooms. Maybe. That's a possibility. Why not? If you're rich, why not? Why wouldn't you do that? Just fascinating, guys. What a culture they had. But damn, I don't think you'd want to live in those times compared to today. But who really knows? Anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed this little rabbit hole. Did ancient Rome have tropical temperatures? And think about the consequences of that. Was the equator in a different place? Think about the catastrophe of the Dark Ages. Rome's population went from millions down to 50,000 or 20,000. Think about the consequences of a shift in temperatures. And then think about what happened in the Dark Ages. Think about the absence of Roman buildings in Roman Britain, even though it was Romanized for 400 years. There's so much to unpack, guys. Cheerio.